Hi.
Hey, 90 Andrea, welcome back from Mexico.
Thank you.
Hope you had a great
I
trip.
did. Thanks for holding down the fort while I was gone.
Yeah, my pleasure. Really fired up for today's call. It's database. database, databank. It's the foundational pillar of having a really big business. So yeah, I just so often wonder, like, why do we go knock on doors and convince people we don't know to hire us?
Right.
When many of us, not all of us, but most of us have, a really big sphere. And if we just did on a more consistent basis, if we reminded them, hey, when you think real estate, think of me,
Right.
we'd have more business without going to expired sports planners, what have you.
Right. Yep.
So we're going to cover that in detail today. A quick recap from last week while Andrea was in Mexico and I was working.
Pull this up.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Number one is, have you been lead generating? It actually takes some form of lead generation to build a listing business. We're going to just keep talking about that week after week. Number two is tracking everything. Number of phone calls, number of contacts, number of listings taken. Have you been practicing new scripts and implementing those into your daily business? Remaining consistent in your efforts.
Right.
And of course,
most importantly,
yeah, we're now 3 weeks into the challenge, or maybe 2 weeks, because the first week was building foundation, is have you hit your weekly listing goal? So recap. And then we got a really great email from Lisa, one of our attendees in the webinar. She had a question. So Andrew, you want to hit that?
Yeah, so specifically this was relating to FSBOs, for sale by owners. And last week on the call, Craig and Amanda went over for sale by owners and really digging in at motivation, why are you looking to sell, et cetera, et cetera. And Lisa's question was, what if they don't want to talk to you? What if they're just, shutting you down, one word answers, not talking to you? What do you do? So Craig, what do we do?
Number one is mirror match. If somebody is being like, so Andrea, where are we going to go in your household?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, like,
moving somewhere bigger.
Yeah, just short, fast answers.
Right.
At that point, I don't want to be really talkative back. I don't want to go on long stories. I want to mirror and match, so I want to go with our tempo.
Yeah.
And I just want to get to the point. Well, great. Sounds like you need someplace bigger. Why don't we schedule a time for me to come over and see if I can't sell your house to help you make more money?
Right. I think the questions are great, especially if somebody will get into that kind of back and forth with you. You will build a lot of rapport. And a lot of FSBOs, they don't want to do that. Just get to the point and schedule the appointment, and that's okay too. It's kind of an either or works. It's just you got to know who you're talking to.
Yeah. So really specifically, Lisa's question was around one-word answers. And sometimes you just don't worry. That's why our statistics are for every 4 FSBOs that pick up, one of them will let us come over for a listing appointment, and the other 3 don't. Or maybe we don't even want to based on how they're treating us or their behavior or their energy. So this really is a numbers game.
It is, for sure.
As good as scripts are and as good as objection handlers are, it's still, I don't know of anyone that's good enough, like, okay, every single phone call, no matter what the seller's temperament or behavioral style or personality is, to get them over the hump.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's dive into today.
Yeah, we have a lot of content today. Okay, so starting with lead follow-up.
What database are you using? So Andrew, you're the queen of lead follow-up.
Thank you.
Like literally, like one of the best I've ever seen. Your best year, you closed
142 homes.
Yeah, for you personally with a showing agent.
Yep.
And so much of that business came from 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, 36 months of lead follow-up. So how does that look like? Like, why are you so good at
it? I would say in a word, I'm relentless and I'm consistent. So
That's 2 words.
Well, they were each one word.
Yes.
Both of them work.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, I consistently follow up with people. So week or month after month, really. I do it as in every 30 days if it's a long-term follow-up, right? So we're talking there a year out, 2 years out, 5 years out. I don't really care. I put them in my database and I follow up with them every 30 days unless something changes. And then, of course, I adjust, right? If all of a sudden they're 3 months out, I got to be following up with them a lot more than every 30 days or you might miss your opportunity. But the bottom line is that I consistently follow up with them every single month. It doesn't matter if they ignore me, are short with me, or what. I follow up with them next month. I follow up with them next month.
Well, and I think that's the key is that we have things going on constantly. Like you just got back from Mexico.
Yeah.
And you came back to your 2 beautiful twin babies.
Yeah.
Well, now you're super slammed, re-engaging, seeing them, getting dog food, filling up the house, like doing those things. Like if somebody's doing some kind of lead follow-up with you, maybe you're short or abrupt. Well, maybe you're just really busy. Maybe one of your kids is sick.
Right, it's not important to me right now. I have other things on my mind.
I think so often in lead follow-up is that if agents are actually doing it, we get slight pushback or we're ignored a few times and we just give up.
Yep.
And the key to your success was consistency. And don't get me wrong, if somebody's
Like really mean.
yeah, then of course let's remove them from our database. So Andrew, what database do you use?
It doesn't matter.
No.
It really doesn't matter. I mean, there's a million databases out there, and the idea of the database is a place where you put a lead or a contact, their information, notes, and can set some sort of follow-up. Like, that's it. They all do it, so it really doesn't matter. Just commit to one and use it.
So in other words, you'll come back in a week later, a month later, after you input information, and you'll open your database and we'll say, hey, call this person, and here's the notes, and here why you're supposed to call them today.
Yep, exactly.
Cool. Do you need a time block for lead follow-up?
I do. Yeah, absolutely. So, and I think this is hard because we talk a lot about lead gen and time blocking for lead gen, and it's like, well, okay, but the whole point of lead generation is to schedule appointments. But then there's a handful of people who don't, or more so that don't, that you have to follow up with. And it's like, well, when do I do that? Is that part of lead gen? Is that after lead gen? Like, what's best practice? What do you do?
Well, number one, to just kind of go back, is that we don't have to do lead follow-up until we get really consistent with lead gen.
Well, you mean because we don't have anybody to follow up with?
Yeah. Yeah, the more consistent we get with our lead generation, like the more we reach out to people in some capacity. Do you want to buy or sell a home? Do you know anybody who wants to buy or sell a home?
Mm-hmm.
We get a small group that's like, yes, I do. We get another group, it's a large group, says, no, I don't ever, go away. And then we get a group in the middle, it's like, yeah, in 3 months or 6 months or 12 months or 2 years.
Yeah.
And that's where the lead follow-up comes to live.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't really have that problem until we consistently do the lead gen to meet these different groups. For me, when do I time block my lead follow-up? I like to do it now before lead gen.
Before, or like
Yes.
the first part of your lead gen, then do lead gen after?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think I've earned that right. Now, mind you, I've been doing lead gen for a decade.
Uh-huh.
And so now I've earned the right, I believe in my mind, to do lead follow-up first.
Okay.
And the reason I want to do lead follow-up first is because they're warmer, they like me, they know me. They're more, well, I feel like they like me. No,
I mean,
seriously.
in some way they let you call you back.
Well, they're not
right?
a cold call.
Right.
And so if I'm going to start my day off doing an activity because all I want to do when I go to work is sell a home or schedule appointments to sell a home tomorrow.
Yep.
So I like to do my lead follow-up first because they're warmer, and it's more likely that they'll be like, yeah, sure, Craig, come over and talk about selling my home.
Mm-hmm.
I like to do that before I go into my flat-out cold calling with people that don't know me.
So you take the win, energy's up, and then you move into your actual lead generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
How often do you call lead back?
Well, I said every 30 days for a long-term lead.
So if they're 6 months, 12 months, 2 years out, every 30 days.
Exactly.
What if they're 2 months out?
I mean, that's real estate IQ, right? So it's like if they're 2 months out, then maybe it's every 2 weeks. And then when we're a month out, it's like you're just trying to get in the door.
Every 3 days, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that. You have to kind of look at each one of those situations and do what makes sense. I don't think there's a necessarily a system of what's right and wrong. It's just listening to the conversation, making those notes, and setting up the appropriate follow-up.
Yeah, if somebody tells me, hey, we're a year out from selling their home, I'm not going to start calling them in 8 months. It's too late.
No.
I'm
Right.
going to spend the next 12 months building a relationship with them.
Yeah, I think that's key. And the other thing about lead follow-up that I really embraced was that the statistics on it is that 70% of business comes from lead follow-up. So that means, 3 out of 10 times you're calling, hey, do you want to sell a house? And they say yes. And 7 out of 10 times it's maybe in a year, maybe in 3 months, maybe in 6 months, and you're having to follow up with them in order to set that appointment and ultimately sell that house. So if 70% of your business comes from lead follow-up, isn't this a good thing to kind of dive in and talk about time block on your calendar and really make sure you have a system to follow?
It's a great thing.
Yeah, I think it's super important.
And when do we send or drop off and lead follow-up? Anything going on in their community, any recent sales, any recent listings. I mean, we may have a lead follow-up in Beaverton, Oregon, which is a big part of our city.
Yeah.
And so the lead we're going after might be $500,000. Well, we might list a home down the street at $350,000, totally different property.
Mm-hmm.
Not even down the street, but like a different part of Beaverton. And I like to highlight the multiple listing, like, hey, we just represent another seller in Beaverton, and I'll highlight the MLS, I'll highlight my name, I'll highlight the date.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll put a note vastly different from your home, and I just want to show you we're still actively representing buyers and sellers in Beaverton. Things like that, market stats, months of inventory.
What about just like for a monthly call? What does that look like?
Oh, so let's say somebody tells me they want to sell a year from this March, so 13 months from now.
Okay.
Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, is this Andrea?
Yep.
Andrea, it's Craig Rieger with XYZ Realty, and my notes indicate that you're looking to sell about a year from now. Two quick questions for you. Number one, is your motivation changed?
Nope.
Cool. Well, I've got you on the phone. Do you have any questions about the local market today?
Nope.
Have a good day. Click. And I'll just keep making that same phone call. Ring, ring. It's now July.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, my records indicate that you're about 7 months out from looking to sell your property. Number one, is your motivation changed? Number two, do you have any questions about the local market? And by the way, if they don't answer, I can leave that voicemail.
Yeah.
If they don't answer consistently, I might send that via text.
Text or
But
email.
that's my once a month follow up.
Yep. And so every month, so when I say like we're following up every 30 days, it's a combination of either a call with a voicemail if they don't answer, which honestly they normally don't, a text or an email. And then I just kind of shake that up. So, every month I'm doing something different because everyone has their own communication style and we want to reach out to them in the way that they want to be talked to. And we don't know, so we're just trying everything. But I think the number one thing that I've really discovered is that it doesn't matter if they don't answer, as long as they're hearing from you every single month. When they are ready, because you consistently continue to call them, they finally, when they are ready, they answer the phone, or they actually end up calling you back. And
what do they say?
They say, "I'm sorry."
Literally, they start the conversation with,
"I'm sorry. I'm sorry for dodging your calls. I wasn't ready, blah,
For 2
blah, blah."
years.
Yeah. But now I'm ready and thank you for staying in touch.
Yeah.
And that's how I've sold so many homes. Just doing that, just staying in touch, super easy. It's just a system I have set up. And then all of a sudden I have people calling me back saying, "I'm sorry, but thank you, and I'm ready."
I wasn't ready, my kids were sick, whatever, and I'm ready now. And thank you for being consistent. Let's talk about selling my home. Pretty cool.
Yep.
All right, next slide.
Okay. I really like that.
Good job.
Thanks.
All right, what's a past client drive-by, Andrea?
So this is a good one for past clients. So a lot of times I think with database and past clients, it's kind of hard because you're like, gosh, I sold them a house 3 years ago and I haven't talked to them and I don't really know what to say. It's kind of awkward to just call up and be like, "How's it going? Do you have any referrals?" Past client drive-bys are really fun. So normally most of us are selling houses in areas that we live, work, go to sometimes. So you may drive by or drive, next to the street of somewhere where you sold a house before. So just take that little detour and drive by the house. And then that leads to being able to call that past client and have something relevant to say.
That's just the truth. And this won't work for brand new agents. This is where if you've been doing it for a number of years and you lost relationship. It's just ring, ring.
Hello?
Andrew, it's Craig Rieger with XYZ Realty. How the heck you been?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good. I know it's been a long time, and I drove by your house this weekend when I was taking my daughter to soccer, and I promised myself I'd check in with you and Gus. What have you guys been up to?
That's so nice. We just had twins, and
Holy moly.
it's been a whirlwind, but things are great.
That's amazing. Well, give my best to Gus, and I just wanted to check and say hello.
Thank you.
That's truly my phone call. On this phone call, if I haven't talked to her in 3 years, I'm not going to be like, "Oh, by the way, since we're talking, do you want to sell a home or refer me?" No, I'm not going to go
We
there.
don't do that. No.
What I've done is I've re-engaged the relationship, and now I'm going to invite her to my client appreciation event next month. Now I'm going to invite Gus and her to my 1031 exchange seminar on how to build wealth through real estate.
Yeah, right. Well, and what happens is that you've now become top of mind to them again. So when they go through their daily lives and encounter people who may be looking to buy or sell, now you're top of mind as a referral without even having to ask.
Literally. I mean, you're right. Just because I called, they know what I do, and it is likely, actually it's consistent, I'll get a referral. If I make a group of those calls in a given week as I'm rebuilding a relationship that I've lost, I'll get a referral without even asking for a referral. And make no mistake, as I continue to rebuild the relationship, in the future, I will be asking for referrals.
Yeah, and I want to make that clear because it's not just you never ask for referrals. We ask for referrals all the time, but in these re-engaging relationships, we leave it out of the first touch and then move forward from there.
Hey, I haven't talked to you in 3 years, but I'm calling up. Can you give me a referral? I think it's not me. Might work for other people.
And maybe some people can do it.
Good for them. I also like to do lunches. In fact, we just ate lunch. It was really cool. I had lunch.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mine will be here soon.
I'll do a very used or earlier consistent. I'm very consistent with a couple of days a week having lunch with people who supported me in the past. or have the ability in the future to support me at a high level. So who's supported me in the past? It might be somebody who referred me business. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Andrea, it's Craig, XYZ Realty. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Hey, the reason I'm calling is you referred Hannah to us. I know I sent you a Starbucks card, Hannah, your sister.
Yeah.
We killed it. Is she happy still?
She loves her place.
Good. I never think you and Gus properly. Can I buy you guys lunch this Saturday?
Cool.
Yeah, bring
for
the
sure.
twins. Let's go to Stanford. It'll be a blast.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That sounds great.
You have lunch with somebody for 45 minutes or an hour that supported your business, and all of a sudden you're going to see your referrals double or triple.
Mm-hmm.
We all have to eat anyway.
Well, and the key here is that we don't have lunch with just anybody. We're very particular about those who have referred business to us or have the ability to refer a lot of business to us.
So who's the ability to refer a lot of business to us? That if we built a stronger relationship, they could send us potentially a lot of referrals.
Attorneys.
Attorneys, yep.
Hairstylists.
Hairstylists are huge. How long does it take to get your hair done?
I'm getting it done on Friday, so we'll find out.
Perfect.
Yep.
More than 30 minutes?
Yes.
So it's a pretty captive audience. You're talking about you, Gus, the babies, your plans.
Uh-huh.
So they would know who to send business to.
Well, yeah. I mean, if there's any chance that I'm going to be buying or selling or have any desire to do that, I'm probably telling my hairstylist because we're sitting there for like 3 hours.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Financial planners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anybody who just think about people who have come in a lot of contact with people. One of the things that a lot of people say on this call is lenders. And I don't think that that's probably the best use of time because lenders it's not the same relationship.
Well, don't get me wrong. You could have your one special lender that you and he or she refers back reciprocal business.
Uh-huh.
But also that lender likely has 25 other agents.
Right. I'm
talking like, who can I build a relationship with where I can become their number one go-to for 5 or 10 or 15 referrals a year? And maybe it's lenders. But I'm more focused on other business owners, people active in their community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, next slide.
Okay.
So this is our favorite database script because we're all looking for excuses of what to say to people. Because we don't know what to say, we don't call them.
Yep.
So this is the easiest thing in the world is that every single one of us has a database of vendors we use. We've got gutter cleaners, we've got furnace cleaners, we've got doggy daycares in our local market to refer our clients to.
It doesn't have to just be real estate related. It's your vendor list.
Plumbers, carpet people, like HVAC, you name it, we got them.
Yep.
And so we like to call them up. So let's say you're my local HVAC heating and cooling company. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Andrea, favorite HVAC company. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. I've got a database around 4,000 people, and I'd love to promote your company. Could you give me any coupons for like a furnace tune-up?
Yeah, I can give you $50 off.
Awesome. What does that normally cost?
$200.
Wow, that's a 25% savings.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Mm-hmm. What if one of my clients need a new furnace?
Oh, I could do like $400 off.
Awesome. Thanks so much. All right, I'm going to create a coupon. I'll send it to you for your approval and then give it to my database.
Sweet.
Perfect. So then we'll simply create a coupon and then we'll start calling our database.
Hold on. So why would a vendor want to give you this coupon?
Because they have the same problem we have. Their business is getting in front of people. And so I'm giving them an opportunity to get in front of my database for free with a coupon. Like, why wouldn't they? No one has ever said no to me on this.
Perfect. Okay. Good.
So now I get to call up my past clients. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Andrew, it's Craig Rieger. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. It was freaking freezing this morning. It was like 37 degrees when I went to work.
Yeah, all night this morning. I've been freezing cold.
Yeah, I don't know if you and Gus realize, but you're supposed to get your furnace cleaned and serviced every year. It's about $200.
Yeah.
We just negotiated a killer discount, 25% off that, $50 off of that with our favorite furnace cleaning company. Would you like me to send you a coupon?
A coupon for $50 off?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
for
something you probably need to do anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. I'll send that over. If you have any new furnace, which I hope you don't, there's a big coupon on that. Anyway, while I've got you, do you have any real estate plans this year I should be aware of?
We might be looking to get another rental.
Oh, wow,
yeah, ours are doing really good, so we might want to add to our portfolio.
That would be number 4.
Yep.
Okay. Sounds like we should talk.
Yeah.
All right, let's get that set up. I'll send you the coupon. I'll send you some email options to get together as well.
Sweet. Sounds good.
So it's just so easy.
Yeah, and what we actually do is that little coupon that we make that we're calling and then we'll email it out. We also just include that in our monthly mailers as well, because what it does in our monthly touches, and I think we'll talk about this a little bit more in a second, but people look forward to it. Right now, they're expecting our touches each month, and they're opening it because they want the coupon, and it's drawing them into our newsletter. So it works for both your print mail and your phone call mails, and we stick it in our email sometimes as well.
Yeah, and don't overthink it. Like,
No.
any business that you're referring to your buyers and sellers will probably give you a coupon if you call and ask.
Absolutely. The donkey daycare one's probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, it is. We use that, and I also like to think of anything seasonality wise. Like, as we're coming out of winter, we're heading into spring. It might be good to get your landscaping coupons
Yes.
we're using.
Yeah,
As we're coming out of spring and moving into summer, it might be good to have air conditioning tune-ups.
Mhm.
So anything seasonally that's happening, we like to call those vendors and have that be in our phone calls and our database print touches and email touches as well.
Yep.
Yeah, so we get people in a habit of opening our touches and taking our phone calls because we're giving value.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, here's my big soapbox on database. I could literally, I have an 8-hour class just on database, so we're abbreviating for this course. How can we teach a listing-based business without having database?
Yeah.
So here's the question for all of you that have been in real estate for more than 1 year. Let's assume, what's the date today? The 19th?
Yes.
The 18th, 19th? Let's assume a year ago today you closed on a home.
Okay.
1 year ago today, you did a great job, right? You killed it for your client. You did everything right. It was a buyer, by the way. You did a great job. It's been 1 year ago today. How often did you communicate with that client?
Oh.
How often? Did you meet with them? Did you call them? Did you do Popeyes? Did you send mailers? Did you have items of value? Did you have client appreciation events?
Did you do nothing?
Did you do nothing? Well, and when I'm coaching agents, I can predict how much money they have in their business account or the size of their business based on how many touches they're doing
Mm-hmm.
and to how many people.
What does that mean? What do you mean?
Well, if somebody has a database of 2,000 people and they're touching them 12 times a year, they're going to have a decent business.
Okay.
If somebody has a database of 1,000 people and they're touching them 36 or 40 times a year, they're going to have a massive business.
Got it.
So in other words, we know it's a contact sport. The more we contact and communicate with our database, or we like to call it data bank, the more we know that our phone's going to ring. In fact, we had our team meeting yesterday, and Bree on our team, who handles our database on my personal sales team, says, "Hey, we sent our touch out on Monday."
Yep.
And do you remember what you said to her?
But we'll have referrals coming in this week.
Yeah, you're like, cool, it'll hit mailboxes this week, and we'll have referrals by the end of the week.
Yeah,
We just know
that's
it's
how
like,
it works.
we send something out Monday, it'll hit mailboxes Tuesday or Wednesday, and by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we'll have emails, texts, and phone calls with referrals and repeat clients saying, come over.
It's like clockwork, but the thing is that we're consistent and we do it
We do it
consistently. It's not like we just do it one time and then referrals come in. It doesn't actually work like that. You have to continue to do it.
About every 8 to 10 days.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
how frequently we communicate with our database.
Well, but what if people don't want to hear from? Isn't that kind of a lot?
Well, it's better than going out of business.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's better than holding open houses to find strangers. For me, frankly, it's better than expireds and calling people you don't know. Like, maybe it's a lot for a small percentage, but at the end of the day, like, most people don't care. They'll hit delete, whatever.
We gotta get out of our head. It's not all about us. Everybody else isn't thinking about us all the time. That's just our mentality. To everybody else, we have to remind them that we're in real estate because we're not going to just naturally be top of mind. They're not going to be like, oh yeah, you called me 60 days ago. Of course, I still remember that you're in real estate. People's brains don't work like that.
Well, I'll coach agents and I'll see them set up a database with 1,000 people, which is awesome. And they'll send out a touch. And like 11 people of their past clients, family, and friends hit unsubscribe.
And then
they're like, oh my gosh, like they were super important people and I can't do this ever again. I'm like, so out of the 1,000 people, you have 11 people unsubscribed. So you have about 989 people that seem to enjoy your touch, and you're never going to send out another touch. Like,
doesn't make sense. Yeah. You gotta let it go. There's gonna be people who unsubscribe. That's okay.
So what are touches in 2020? Phone calls, text messages, emails, social media messages, client events. We're going to talk about that. Yeah. Anything printed, handwritten, mailers, newsletters, etc. House anniversaries, like, hey, you've been in your house for 2 years. That could be a phone call. That could be a text. That could be an email. Birthdays, we love sending birthday cards. How do we get everybody's birthdays?
Well, when they close on a house, they have to go through and sign paperwork, which requires an ID.
Yeah.
And
in other words, there's no state in the U.S. where you can buy a house without showing your ID.
Yep.
Either an attorney state or an escrow state, you still have to show your ID and prove that you're the buyer or seller.
Yep.
Okay, what's on an ID?
Birthday.
Perfect.
So you just ask the title company to give you the birthday. We get some pushback on this, and that's because they can't share with us the year, which is fine.
We don't want the year.
We don't need that. We just need the.
I don't need to be like happy 57th birthday.
No.
I just want to know, oh, you're May 7th. Happy birthday.
Right. So if you have any issues, just clarify. But this is such a good one. If you don't know, you'll have to figure that out on your own.
I'll put it in my database. And then Popeyes, of course, popping by the property. All touches we want to do are listing based.
Yeah. Yep.
Do you remember the touch that I asked you to send out next week, or help make sure our team sends out?
Yeah, making sure it's basically just telling that we sold houses, our listings at or above full price. We've sold a lot at or above full price lately, so we're going to do some marketing on that.
Yeah, this literally will be our next touch, and this is live what our team works on. And yesterday we worked on it live. Today we're sharing it with you, and it will go out next week because we sold a house for $30,000 above asking on Friday. That's going to go in a touch. We sold a new construction property before it was built at above full price. That's going to go in a touch. We had multiple offers on a condo in a high-rise building downtown. So we're going to put these little testimonials of like 6 or 7 sellers that we've helped get above full price the last couple of weeks. We're going to put their address in. We're going to tell the story. We're going to talk about the price. And then the whole subject is like, if you want to sell your own, act now because we're on fire. The market's on fire.
Yeah. So the bottom line is that every messaging that we send out is a seller based or listing based. We're looking for listings. We're never actually selling, or we're never actually promoting we need buyers or we're a buyer's agent. We're always going for listings because we know if you're a listing based business, the buyers will just come.
Absolutely. All right, let's go.
Next slide.
Yeah. Okay, what do I say? What do I send? Client birthdays, we talked about house anniversaries. Interest rates, we just did an interest rate touch last week. They've gone down nationwide. Appreciation is a great touch. Like, hey, your house, right? Not necessarily your house, but your neighborhood has gone up 50,000 to 100,000 the last couple of years.
Right.
As agents, we know that.
Yeah.
We've been doing it for a while. Like, I don't know, Andrea, like your house on Diamondback Way. Like, I don't know if it went up 150,000 or 75,000, but I know it was somewhere in that range.
Yeah. Right, exactly. It went up a lot.
Yeah, and I don't have to do the research on it. I just feel like, Andrea, you made up to a couple $100,000 in your home. That's since I sold it to you. That's a real life story. By the way, if you thought about cashing in on that and buying something bigger, and I heard you have the twins, let's talk.
Right.
If not, congrats on making all that money.
Yeah. Well, and now, so that's great. And the interest rate thing is great. And that's something that we can all talk about a lot because they seem to keep dropping. So it's a really good thing to bring up. But now, hold on. So interest rates affect buyers.
Yeah.
So I thought I was supposed to be a listing based.
Right.
Help.
Well, so often I'll see a touch. It's like, it's a great time to buy. Rates are really low. Right? I'll see that constantly.
Yeah. Yep.
And so who are we attracting into our world?
Well, buyers, but you're also speaking in a real estate language. Like, I don't know if a buyer knows what that means.
So when you have at the bottom here, ask yourself, so what, who cares? Everything we say, we want to go deeper on it. So interest rates are low. It's a great time to buy.
So what, who cares?
Well, what I actually meant to say, if interest rates are low, so there's an abundance of buyers, which means that they're making a ton of offers on listings. And so there's more buyers than there is sellers. It's actually a great time to sell.
Got it. So now you're listing based.
Yes. So I don't want to say interest rates are low. Interest rates are low, which has created an abundance of buyers who have bought all of the existing homes on the market, so we're out of inventory, which means there's never been a better time to sell. Do you see how we change that script up from interest rates are low to the reality is what does that mean in most of the markets around the country? It's actually a great time to sell.
Yep. So not only did you make it listing based, but you also made it clear because the average consumer doesn't know all this like real estate jargon that we use. We have to kind of bring it back down to like, what does that mean? What does that actually mean to the person that we're messaging?
Absolutely. Let's go to the next slide. So Andrea, you created this.
Calendar, so pretty.
Yeah, well, it's just a calendar. Like, whoa, amazing. You created it. Good job. No, you've been using this our team for years. So explain how we create our touch campaign over the course of the year.
Yep. So we print off pretty much this every single year. We'll put it up on like a calendar.
A calendar, shocker.
Yeah, super easy. Don't overthink it. And basically we decide how many touches we're doing that year, right? So if we're doing 36 touches, that's 3 a month, right? So now we're going to be looking, and actually, you know what, we do two a month, so it's 24. The others are different, but 24 are going to go on this. So basically what we do is
Keep going. You're doing great.
Oh, okay. Each month, we are at the beginning of the year, we circle each month, we circle a date in green. And green means we're going to send out a touch that day. So then what we have to do is go, okay, well, that day we're not going to be ready to send out a touch. So we have to backtrack 5 days to give ourselves time, and we'll circle that day in red. So to show you what that looks like, basically we would circle, we're going to circle January 2nd in red, right? So that's the day we're going to start our touch. And then we're going to circle January 7th in green because that's the day it's going to go out.
Or if we look at today, we're sitting here on February 18th. So I'm going to circle today in red.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I will start on my touch today. I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to send, but I'm going to start working on messaging to send to my database on the 18th. And then all I've got to do is go to the 25th and circle that in green.
Yep.
That's the day it goes out.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to jump into March. Be like, okay, on March 2nd, I'm going to circle red. And on March 9th, I'm going to circle green. So the 2nd means I'll start working on my touch.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, if I'm a procrastinator, I might be finishing it on the evening of the 8th.
You might be starting it on the evening of the 8th.
True. And March 9th, it goes out. And I'll go the next touch. Okay, I need another touch to go on March. I'll circle March 16th in red. That's my start date.
Uh-huh.
That's my alert. And March 23rd is green. It goes out.
So basically what you end up with is a bunch of green and red circles all over your calendar.
Yeah.
And you hang it, and you hang it up above your desk. And now you know, visually looking like, oh my gosh, I have to start my touch tomorrow because it's going to go out in 5 days. And now you know in your brain, it doesn't matter if you're overwhelmed the next day. Great, don't do it. Do it the next day. You're giving yourself time. But you know, no matter what, your touch is going out on those green circle dates. And by the end of the year, you'll have sent out the number that you agreed upon.
And I guarantee you, when you send out the number that you agreed upon, 24, 36, 40, it's your number.
Mm.
But I'll challenge you, if you're sending out less than 20 touches a year, you're leaving business on the table.
Right.
You're leaving referrals on the table. You're not communicating enough with your database, past clients, and sphere. You're communicating more than most.
Yep.
But anything less than 20, you're truly leaving business on the table.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
all. But what this does is to finish my thought, is it ensures that, okay, my goal this year, I'll send out 29 touches. Cool. Well, all you have to have is 29 reds and 29 greens.
Yeah.
And then follow it. Don't skip it. That's why we give you the week in between the red and the green to actually get it done.
Yep,
What
exactly.
were you gonna say?
Well, I was just gonna say that, like, so we schedule this as, as like a 24 touch on here, but then you're adding in things like the client birthday calls, you're adding in the house anniversary calls, you're adding in the calls with the, hey, I have a coupon, right? So it's not just this is just the written board that you're creating.
Thank you. These are the emails and the snail mail touches.
Exactly. Yeah. So I just want to make that clear. It's not that we're only doing 24 and putting that on here, and it's also not that we're circling when we're calling people on here, right? Because I'm not going to circle every date on here because it's everyone's birthday. That's weird.
No.
So it's just the print and email newsletters we're putting on this, because we know that our marketing team needs to work on them. We need to look at the messaging, and we need to figure out what we're going to send out. Because the reality is that when I create this today, I don't know what I'm going to send out in August. I really have no idea. I just know that on August 18th, something's going out.
Yeah, how I'd say it, Andrea, thank you for clarifying that. This is the admin's job.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This is the admin's job. These 24 touches, because we want 2 per month, is the admin's job.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there may be phone calls that need to be made to the clients. Not need to be. There's not made. There is absolutely phone calls that should be made to the past clients, family, friends, and sphere.
Yeah.
That's the agent's job.
Yes.
So if you're an individual agent, when you're the admin of your company, which you are, right? If you're an individual agent, there's paperwork you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
This is part of that paperwork, getting these print and email touches out.
Yeah.
And then the individual agents, you are also the buyer's agent, listing agent of your own team. Great. As the agent, you call up, ring, Andrea, it's Craig Rager with Keller Williams Realty. I just want to let you know, I just negotiated a killer discount with ABC Gutter Cleaning. By the way, while we're talking, do you have any real estate? That, by the way, this is my favorite script at this time of year. I'll stop using it probably around mid-March. By the way, while we're with past clients, by the way, while we're talking, do you have any real estate needs or anything you and Gus are planning on in 2020 I should be aware of?
Yeah.
I like that way better than do you have a referral? And when I'm early into a new year, I always transition the script into, with my sphere, do you have any real estate plans or needs you guys have been talking about for 2020 that I should be aware of? Killer script. Let's go to the next slide.
Okay. So client events, right? So this is another multiple touches.
Well, these are the most brilliant touches in the world because you're getting people to come to you. right? And so you have touches to how do you let them know about it? Well, you've got emails, you've got snail mails, you have phone calls, you have social media posts, you can do pop buys. But the purpose is to get a group of people to come to you to give them value or fun.
Yes.
So what are some great client appreciation events that we put together and or we coach some teams that put together? What's Pictures in the Park?
Pictures in the Park, super awesome. It's where we basically rent out a park, an outdoor park, and hire a photographer or multiple photographers to come and take pictures of our clients. So they bring their whole family, they get all dressed up, and we take pictures of them and give them a picture for free.
And then sometimes we'll buy additional pictures from the photographer.
Right, exactly. Yep. So it's a win for our clients, right? Who doesn't love a family photo? And it's a win for our vendor photographers because they're gaining access to our database and ultimately making even more money off of the database buying their photos.
You know what's cute is half of our team right now, I walk by their desk, and our last Pictures in the Park event, they've got their family, because of course our team members invited their own family. And it's like, that's how, and we do that for our clients.
Yeah.
And they'll have that for life.
Cool.
VIP wine events, really simple. This is a smaller group. This might be 30 or 40 at most past clients, family, and friends. And we're going to have them over. We might rent out a small wine bar or something in Portland, and we'll have it reserved just for our guests. And it might be a couple hours with some really good wine pouring. Very fun. So that's people that have referred us a ton of business or high net worth. Easter egg hunt, pretty self-explanatory. Andrea gets in a bunny costume. We put eggs on the ground. It's amazing. Pie giveaways, that's for Thanksgiving. Movie nights is the simplest of all.
Yeah, those are some of my favorite.
Well, you just rent out a movie theater and then you reach out to all of your sphere and be like, I rented a movie theater, come and enjoy. So you can do, like, we've had some people we coach and they've done like Mean Moms movie and they've invited all of their lady friends and lady clients. And then we've had others where it's very family oriented and it's a kids movie or a Disney movie.
Yep.
Or others where it's like a fun date night. It's like the new release of Mission Impossible. And we might have a beer served beforehand depending on the theater.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you can have fun with it. Like, that's the whole point, is having fun with it. So think about what your clientele is, and then plan your event sort of around who you want to invite and what you have to invite.
Yeah, some of my most recent favorites that we pulled off in the last 90 days is a 1031 exchange event.
Amazing.
So, Andrea, to do a 1031 exchange, what's the first thing that has to happen?
You have to sell a house.
Right, to exchange something, you have to sell an investment property.
A property, yeah.
And then to complete the exchange, what do you have to do?
Buy a property.
Why not throw 1031 exchange events every day? Because every person that says yes,
yeah,
you get a minimum of 2 sales.
Yep.
That's kind of cool.
Yep.
So that was really fun, very easy to pull off. It was basically, here was our script. Like, we are passionate about helping our clients build wealth. We're more passionate about helping them build wealth through real estate. So we brought in a 1031 exchange expert and we put on an event and it was killer.
Yeah. And it was actually like pretty easy and low cost because we had, the 1031 guy wanted to come and speak, right? And he helped sponsor it. And we just rented out a brewery and had breakfast and mimosas. So people like to come to that. So
by the way, when we have events, there's a lot of breakfast, a lot of food, a lot of mimosas. Sorry to interrupt.
People like that stuff. We're doing something to make people show up and have fun. Like, that's the whole idea of it. If they're not going to want to show up, then we can't do these.
Yeah, call one. Andrea, do you want to come to my investment seminar at the end of the month?
No, boring.
Andrea, do you want to come to my investment seminar at the end of the month? We're passionate about helping you and Gus build wealth through real estate. Oh, and did I mention we have champagne and really good food and mimosas, and it's only an hour long?
Man, let's do
totally
it. Sounds fun. Yeah, exactly. Make it fun.
We also recently crushed a first-time homebuyer seminar.
Yeah, those are fun too.
Same thing. We did a brew pub. There was breakfast with mimosas. We had our lender help pay for it. So easy. We had our home inspector speak for 10 minutes. We had our lender speak for 10 or 15 minutes about the loan options for first-time buyers. And then we spoke for 10 or 15 minutes about the local market and the services we provided.
Yep.
It was awesome.
It's amazing.
What to consider your clientele. So very different clientele at a VIP event than a first-time buyer seminar.
Right. And you may have different clientele as your past clients. So look at what you have and then what sort of a party would make sense to throw.
Budget. Ours is really expensive. Even these brew pubs we're actually getting the wine, the champagne from Costco.
Right, it's pretty cheap.
Well, it's cheaper, and the Corkin fee is cheaper than what they charge too, right?
Yep.
And then we have the lender helping pay for it, the home inspector paying for it, the 1031 exchange person paying for it. In some cases, we've zero based it. It cost us nothing, but we would be clear, we were the ones that did all the work. to get 50 people in the room. So that's the next thing, what to consider. Write this one down, highlight it. This is the most overmissed things with the folks we coach is what number of people will show up?
I don't know.
Well, we better know.
Okay.
If we're gonna do all of this work and 7 people show up to my buyer seminar, maybe in your business that's a win, but in my business, why am I here?
Right.
Why am I not fishing on this Saturday? It's a total waste of my time. Because out of 7 people, I'm lucky if one of them is ready, able, and willing to buy a home. Like, I could have just held an open house with no prep work and had the same results. So I need to know if I'm pulling off an event, I have a minimum of X people.
Okay.
And it's up to you, right? There's no right or wrong. For me, 7 people would be, I would lose it.
Yeah.
I need 30 or 40 people in a room for it to be worth my time and my team's time to be there.
Yep.
Anything above that, we're winning. Anything below that means that we didn't fail. We just have to get better at getting people in the room.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the first event we threw, like, how many people went?
Not very many.
It was horrible.
It
We
was
almost
like,
threw
it
in
was
the towel.
like 7.
Yeah, it was. We're like, we're never doing this again. We're like, wait, we know this will work. And then we're like, geez, we actually didn't call enough people.
Mm.
We didn't send out enough touches. We didn't do enough mailers to expose it. Let's do more next time. And lo and behold, what happened?
Bunch of people showed up. The other thing we didn't do the first time is track any of it. We just sort of put out our feelers and waited and then showed up to the event, and lo and behold, 7 people showed up.
So what do you mean track?
So, like, we didn't know before the event how many people were. We didn't have a goal, and
Perfect.
we didn't
Prop
work.
one, we didn't have a
Right?
goal.
Yeah, and then we didn't work every single day to hit that goal
And we didn't know where we stood against the goal.
because we didn't have any of that.
By the way, does this sound similar to X listings in 90 days? Where we asked you on call 1 and 2 to make a goal of how many listings you'll take and to track it every day for that 90-day period.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to have a first-time buyer event or a 1031 exchange event, which by the way means listing a property,
And buying.
and buying, which is great, 2 sales, which is what this course isn't about, taking a ton of listings. It's about dominating listings so you have a bigger business on both listing and buy side.
Yeah.
So, okay, I need 30 investors in the room.
Great.
Well, let's track every day. Okay, well, the event is 30 days away, and I only have 3 investors signed up. So
What else are we going to do?
I need to know every single day what the goal is and where I stand against it.
Yep. It's
And
pretty
then
simple.
just simple process, invite, follow up, confirm seat the event, and then thank you or sorry we missed you. We have at least a 20% fallout.
Yeah,
If people
and we
save
account for
income.
that in our goals.
Absolutely. So if we know we need 30 people to show up to make it a win, then we've got to book about 40 to 42 to have 30 actually show up.
Yep, exactly. But then the idea here is that you're having, these are 4 touches, right? So going back to, we're trying to hit 35 plus touches a year is, well, when you invite somebody, you follow up to make sure you're coming, you see them at the event, and then you follow up to say thank you for coming or sorry we missed you. That's 3, 4, sometimes 5 separate touches that you're making to that person.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Well, it adds up quick.
Yes, it does. So when you think, oh my gosh, 36, that's so many touches, how am I going to do this? Well, you start to break down what all of this is, and it actually comes together. Our touch system is like a minimum of 35. Some people are getting 50 plus touches just because we do have their birthdays. We do have house anniversaries. They are coming to our client events. Like, things are just working out where they're actually getting a whole lot more.
Yeah. All right, next slide.
Oh, there we go.
So here's an example of our VIP wine events, I believe. I want to call and personally invite you to our VIP wine tasting event in Cedar Hills on August 20th from 5 to 7. We'll be serving the award-winning Wang wine. By the way, Wang wine is amazing. Check it out online.
Pretty
And the
award-winning.
owners are going to, literally, yeah, it's incredible. It's a Pinot from the Dundee Hills, along with heavy appetizers. Would you be interested in having us RSVP, and/or would you like me to send you an email with more info? How easy is that?
That's it. So that's our call, right? We call our database. Well, this is a VIP event, so we called our VIP database with that messaging.
Yeah, and what day do we make our phone calls to our database?
Friday.
Why Fridays?
Well, it's consistent because we always do it on Friday.
That's all.
I mean,
That's all.
Yeah, we just have 1 day a week that's dedicated to it. You know, our team works really hard lead generating
Lead generating, lead follow-up, etc.
every single day of the week, and we just take Friday to make those special past client and database calls, because it's a feel-good call. It's really nice to go into the weekend with it, and it's consistent. Like, we got to pick a day, so why not Friday?
Yeah. And so it might be ring, ring. Hey, we've got a coupon for gutter clean. Might be ring, ring. We've got a VIP wine event. You're on our special list. Can we RSVP you?
Mhm.
But that's our Friday call. It's super simple. All right, next slide. Here's just an example
flyer.
of the flyer that we might email out to our database.
Yep,
Pretty simple.
super simple. Social media.
Social media is pretty awesome. I won't camp on this too long. What's that?
It says 2019 on there.
Oh.
This one says 2020.
Oh, my printed copy does say 2020.
All right.
There we go. Good to know. Good catch. It is a database of 2020.
Yes, it
There's a
is.
tremendous amount of business in social media that we can glean way more than our CRM.
Mhm.
One example of that, Andrea, is that you've got twins. You've been out of college for a brief period of time. You're by no means old, but it's been a while since you've been in college. Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to get at.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, is there people that you like did keg stands with in college or went to football games in college that you would consider friends that are still, a decade later are not best friends in our CRM?
Yes.
So how do you still engage with them?
I just through social media.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean,
Hundreds and hundreds
and
of
not
people.
even like actively engaging, just like they see my posts on social
And
media.
every once in a while you're like, oh my gosh, you're pregnant, congrats.
Sure. Right. Yes. Normal social media protocol.
Oh my gosh, you bought a new home, crap, why didn't I, right? You see those things.
Yeah, those hurt.
So that's one of the reasons why social media is so powerful is we have people that frankly have no right being in our database and being invited to your VIP events because they were a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend in college. They were a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend that worked down 25 cubicles down the hall at the last company I worked for at Intel.
I'm not calling and inviting them to my client event, and I'm not calling and giving them a coupon. Like, it's just that I don't even have that information.
Nor do I even care to try and find it.
Right.
At this point. However, they know me and I know them, and it's possible if I can remind them on a consistent basis when you think real estate, think of me, they might refer me business and or use me.
Yep.
So our strategy is if you're an aggressive behavioral style, for every 4 posts you do, like here's my puppy, here's my twin babies, here's crank catching a fish. For every 5th post then would be business.
So 4-to-1 ratio.
Yes.
4 personal to 1 business.
If we're a little bit more shy about having that presence on social media, then for every 6 personal we do non-real estate or non-business related, the 7th would be business. So 6-to-1 ratio.
Mhm.
It's that
Yep.
simple.
Yeah, find the ratio that works for you. But those are really good.
What did we post? I had something
Oh,
fuzzy.
okay.
What did we post?
I mean anything.
Please
like,
don't post. Come to my open house. No one
please don't do
cares.
that. Yeah, no one cares. Although, and claps to you for doing something though. But here's kind of get creative with it. So funny things, love funny things. People love funny things. I went into a house recently where they had, those old picture frames where like grandmas put all the like pictures, the collage pictures.
Yeah.
It was that of all their cats.
Perfect.
It was
Crazy
weird.
cat lady. I
It's
like
weird.
it. Or man.
But yeah, but I mean, right? Snap a picture and post it on your Facebook. Like, look what I saw while showing houses today. Funny things. Just find stuff to post. When you go the extra mile, that's really good. So you tell your story.
Well, I used to own a roofing company many years ago, and so right. Yes or no? Do our sellers get locked out of their houses?
Yeah.
They do. Just the buyers and buyers agents come through, and somehow doors get locked and people get locked out. So there's one recently, me like scaling a 2nd-story roof and pulling a window open and getting my clients inside their home. And I just had somebody take a picture of it. And I posted like, "Gosh, my clients got locked out, and I go the extra mile and risk my life to sell your property."
Right. So be intentional.
I got
about
like
those things.
400 likes on that stupid thing. There's an agent in our office, and a raccoon had met its demise in a seller's driveway. Right? Things do die.
Yeah.
Don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out the house is vacant. Her sellers live out of state now. And she had a picture, not showing the raccoon, but she had a picture of like her back turned, but she clearly had these big rubber gloves on. And she had a picture of her like dumping something in a garbage can. And you could just clearly tell that it was a dead animal without seeing it was a dead animal. It was tasteful. And she just explained like this critter died in my client's driveway. They live out of state, and my job is to sell their home. I go the extra mile. She had like 600 likes. So we like posting. I also like proof of success, like Gus and Andrea holding a sold sign.
Right.
Congrats on your multiple offers, Gus and Andrea. Enjoy your new journey of moving to New Mexico.
Yeah, I like that because then you can also tag them in it as well. So now all of their sphere is seeing it, and all their friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
So you can use social media in a lot of different ways. And you can have fun with it. That's the whole premise of social media, is having fun. So it is business, right? But you can have a little bit more fun with it. why don't you go over the last thing? I think this is really, really good.
Yeah, we have listed a ton of homes from this, and it's cool because we've seen this, and I've seen agents recently doing around the country that we've been coaching.
Yeah, that's fun to see.
So essentially, like on social media, just put on, I'm practicing doing comparative market analysis or CMAs, or I'm practicing pricing homes. Who wants to know your home's value? I'm practicing pricing homes. Who wants to know your home's value? And I like to put a little dig in, like I'm way more accurate than Zillow. You'll be surprised how many people in your sphere is like, I love to know my home's value.
Right.
And what you'll find is there's a group of that group that actually wants to sell. Now, for some of you, that may not make sense to post. I'm practicing doing pricing homes.
Right, I already know how to do that.
Andrew, you've sold like 1,500 houses.
I hope I'm not practicing. Yeah, not good.
So what could you post?
I could post that I'm using a new software to price homes.
So
want to try it out. I could post that I'm mentoring a newer agent in the office and, trying to help them with pulling comps. Do you want to know the value of your home? Get creative with it.
I love that.
Yeah. But the thing is that you can find something and some way to engage your audience.
Really good. All right, let's wrap it up. Number one is, do you have a database? If not, that's the only thing you should be working on. An hour or 2 a day is getting that database built.
Yeah.
Period.
Don't go out. I mean, right, if you don't have anybody to put in your database, then yeah, you need to go out and you need to call expires and door knock and do all those other things we talked about on last week's call. But if you're not touching the people that already know and love you, then that's where you need to start.
Yep. Number two is, do you intentionally work that database every day? That's it. In our case, it's every Friday, but we've got the mailers and all the things going out in between. So it really, it
really is every day.
It's aggressive.
Well, and we're also
feeding it. We're going to say the same thing. We're adding to it every day.
Yep.
Right? I meet somebody. It's like, hey, you're awesome. I'm adding you to my database on that day, on that minute. So come next Friday, I'll give you a call every Friday for well, I don't call them every Friday. Our goal is to physically call our database once a quarter.
Yeah.
Our past clients, family, and friends.
And it takes us about a quarter to get through our database by doing it every Friday.
Correct.
So that's how that works.
Are you time blocked for lead follow-up? Andrea, what was the stat? What percentage of business comes from lead generation?
30% comes from lead generation.
30% of the time. Do you want to sell your home? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
That's lead generation.
Yep.
What percentage takes follow-up?
70%.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
So if we know 70% of our business comes from lead follow-up, we should be time blocked for it.
Absolutely.
And then finally, we use secret agent. Secret agent means you don't have a database. You're not using social media. You're not reminding anyone when you think real estate, think of me. The only people that might be reminding is the strangers walking into your open houses.
Right. The
stranger expires and FSBOs you're calling.
By the way, that takes a lot more work.
Yeah.
The ratio of selling a house to somebody that you don't know is a 50-to-1 ratio. The ratio on someone you do know is 1 in 6.
Right.
So why are we not, that's the whole point of today's call. Let's make things easier. If we want to do more business, that means we need to be a little bit more efficient. So we need to work with the people who actually are going to commit and work with us.
I love that. All right, let's see if there's any questions. And if not, we'll wrap up.
Okay. And there is more throughout this, right? There's a couple other scripts. So we got seasonality scripts. We have interest rate scripts. We have past clients. Just right. There's more scripts in there. So we just include those, but I'm not going to go through them.
Well, that wasn't the intent. The intent was they're there for you guys.
Yeah.
This is a quiet group. We've got 4 of these going. This is the group that doesn't ask a ton of questions. That's okay. You can email us. You can private message us. You can type the questions in. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all good.
All right, everybody. Oh, well, yes. Thank you both. Thank you, Bud. It's Bud. I know Bud. That's awesome. Sean ran the CMA Facebook post last week. 15 requests for it. Sean, I saw you.
Yay!
Good job, dude.
Good job.
That's awesome. That's really cool. It works.
I love that.
It sounds crazy, but we actually put online hey, I'm practicing CMAs, or I'm mentoring a new agent, or I have new software, and lo and behold, it works. And just remember that not all of those are solid listing leads, but they're people that want to know their price. And yeah, well, there he's got it there. 15 requests, 4 solid leads. Awesome job, Sean. Really cool.
It's really awesome.
Thanks.
Ready to dominate.
All right, we appreciate it. All right, everybody, have a great week. If you need anything in between, just send us a message. Take care.
Alrighty, bye-bye.